Hey Flock, Mike here from Epic Duck Studios and welcome to Hobby Heroics. This new short form series will focus on things you can do to improve your hobby game with minimal effort. In this episode I'll be showing you my rapid recipe for painting green skin using this battle pig from relicblade. It just takes two colors, Magos purple and Plaguebearer flesh contrast paint, and a zenithal base coat. So you can see that I start with a gray primer from below and a white primer from above. That's it, two quick rattle can coats gives us that zenithal base coat. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the Magos purple and just painting it into the deep parts of the model, the creases, the valleys, and places where details meet, but I'm leaving all the outer surfaces alone. Now there's a couple exceptions. I want the ears and the nose to be more pink than green, so I'm splashing a little bit more of the Magos purple on those spots. And what the Magos purple is doing is setting up some really nice warm undertones before we get to the Plaguebearer flesh. Now a lot of the contrast paints don't actually provide a lot of contrast. There's not a lot of difference in color between the shadow and the highlight. Zenithal priming is a way to exaggerate that. Doing this undercoat just takes it one step further. Now by pairing a purple shadow with the green surfaces, I'm creating a tonal shift in the color of the skin, and it makes it more believably skin-like. So I'm just continuing to work my way around the model, looking for deep grooves, muscle definition, maybe some scars, anywhere I really want to create more of this deeper shadow. Now as the Magos purple dries, there's going to be a few places where I go back in and apply a second coat and really build the volume of those shadows up and get a nice feather from the unpainted surface into that shadow. Now you can see I'm also using the Magos purple a little bit heavily where another detail meets the skin, a bracer, a belt, what have you, where I want a nice dividing line between two details. When you apply contrast paint in really thin coats like this, I'm not letting it pool up too deeply in any of the shadowed areas. It tends to dry quite rapidly, a couple minutes at most, and this means I can basically move straight onto the Plaguebearer flesh from the Magos purple with no downtime. Now with the Plaguebearer flesh, I'm using even less of the color on the brush. I'm really applying it as more of a surface stain, as a tint, than I am as a contrast paint. I'm not letting it pool up at all, because I really just want it to change the color of the surface. I don't need shadows from it because I already did that work. This is a very rapid step, and even with having to cover about half the surface area of this miniature with the Plaguebearer flesh, it still only takes about 2 to 3 minutes. In total, painting the skin on this battle pig takes no more than 8 minutes start to finish. If there's areas in the model that you don't really want purple, you can just build up extra layers of the Plaguebearer flesh and it'll start to tint that purple into a brown instead. Now around the nose, I'm actually doing the complete opposite, and I'm almost applying none of the green so that the purple really shows through. Lastly, I'm applying the Plaguebearer flesh a little bit thicker along the inside of the legs. It's the darkest point on the model with that zenithal base coat, and I want to make sure the color builds up properly. So I've gone ahead and painted the rest of the mini just to put those colors in context, but the skin is still just Magos purple and Plaguebearer flesh over a zenithal base coat. The only exception is the nose, where I came in with a little bit of Cadian flesh tone. Alright, that's it. That's the video. Go paint something.